It was a golden morning in the wealthy district of Crestwood Hills, where luxury cars hummed down marble, driveways and fountains whispered, secrets only the rich could afford to hear. Birds sang, leaves danced to the rhythm of the breeze, and somewhere beyond the tall iron gates of the Lexington estate, a story began, one that would soon shake the hearts of millions. Richard Lexington, a billionaire known for his ruthless business acumen and unmatched power in the tech world, had always believed that success was built on numbers, deals, and control. But that belief was about to be tested by something he never expected, a homeless little girl sitting under his favorite oak tree. Richard's daughter, Amelia, was just 8 years old, sweet, shy, and sheltered. Despite the wealth around her, her world was small. Her father's meetings filled the mansion. Her mother's absence left a silence no toy could fill, and her only companions were books and the soft hum of piano music, echoing from the grand hall. But that morning, something unusual happened. When the chauffeur dropped Amelia at the garden to read before her tutor arrived, she noticed someone sitting under the large oak tree. A small, barefoot girl dressed in torn brown clothes, clutching a stick and a tattered notebook. The girl's hair was messy, her knees scraped, her eyes bright with intelligence. Curiosity led Amelia closer. "Hi," she said softly, clutching her book. The girl looked up, startled, then quickly lowered her eyes. "Sorry, I didn't mean to be here. I was just writing." Amelia tilted her head, noticing the notebook. "You can write?" The girl hesitated, then nodded. "A little. My name's Hope," Amelia smiled. "That's a pretty name." Hope looked surprised. "No one's ever said that to me." What began as an innocent greeting soon became an unlikely bond. Amelia sat beside her under the tree, showing her storybooks, while Hope helped her understand words that even her tutors made complicated. Hope's way of teaching was simple. She used the dirt as her chalkboard, her stick as a pen, and her imagination as her classroom. "See if you can't remember a word," Hope said, drawing letters in the soil. "Just make a story about it. Every word is part of a story." Amelia's eyes widened with fascination. "You're really smart." Hope smiled shyly. "My mom used to teach me before she got sick. I haven't been to school since she—" Her voice trailed off. Amelia didn't press. Instead, she offered one of her books. "You can read this one. It's my favorite." Hope's fingers trembled as she took the book, a book she could never afford to own. Just as she began reading aloud, a loud voice shattered their moment. "Amelia!" It was Richard Lexington himself, stepping out of his mansion with his assistant and security guard. His polished shoes clicked against the marble as he approached, his expression cold and controlled. "What is going on here?" Amelia jumped up, startled. "Daddy, this is Hope." "She's helping me with reading." Richard's gaze darkened as he turned to the girl. "Helping you?" "She's trespassing on private property." Hope immediately stood up, clutching the book. "I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to—" "Security!" Richard barked. "Take her off the property." "No, Daddy, please," Amelia cried, grabbing his hand. "She didn't do anything wrong." "She's nice." Richard didn't respond. His eyes, sharp and cold, studied the homeless girl. She couldn't have been more than 10, but her eyes carried a sadness far beyond her years. Something in that gaze, a mix of fear and pride, stopped him. "Wait," he said, raising a hand. The guard halted. "What were you doing here?" Hope's voice shook. "Just learning, and helping her read. I didn't take anything. I swear." For a moment, silence filled the garden. The wind rustled the leaves, and a single page from Amelia's book fluttered to the ground. Richard's assistant whispered, "Sir, shall I call the authorities?" Richard didn't answer. His eyes were fixed on the girl's notebook lying on the grass. He bent down and picked it up. Inside were drawings, equations, and handwritten notes about science and words. Perfectly neat, shockingly advanced for a child. "You wrote all this?" he asked. Hope nodded nervously. "It's just stuff I remember, from when my mom used to teach me." Richard's expression softened for just a second. Memories flickered of his own childhood before the billions. When his mother used to teach him by candlelight because they couldn't afford power, he quickly brushed it off. "Who are your parents?" he asked. Hope swallowed. "I don't have any, sir. My mom passed away last winter. I live near the bus station with some other kids." Amelia gasped. "You don't have a home?" Hope shook her head. Just the stars. The words hit Richard harder than he wanted to admit. He cleared his throat. You should go now. Hope nodded, clutching the book Amelia had given her. Thank you, she whispered. But before she could leave, Amelia ran after her. Wait! She pressed a shiny apple into Hope's hand. For you. Come back tomorrow, okay? Hope hesitated, then smiled, in a small, hopeful smile that seemed to light up her dusty face. Okay. That night, Richard couldn't sleep. He sat in his office overlooking the sprawling city lights, but his mind kept drifting back to the girl under the tree, her intelligence, her humility, her eyes that carried both pain and wisdom. He found himself wondering how many children like her had slipped through the cracks of his empire, kids with brilliance but no chance. The next morning, he instructed his assistant to investigate. Within hours, they discovered Hope's story. Her mother had been a school teacher who lost her job and later her life during a flu outbreak. Since then, Hope had been surviving on the streets, teaching herself by reading discarded books. That same afternoon, as Richard walked past the window, he saw her again, under the tree this time, waiting for Amelia. But Amelia wasn't the only one learning now. Richard watched silently as Hope explained something to his daughter using simple words and gestures that even a trained tutor had failed to use. For the first time in years, he smiled, and a genuine smile. Later, he walked down to the garden. The moment Hope saw him, she froze. Sir, I'm sorry, Relax, he said, his tone surprisingly gentle. What are you teaching her? Just stories, Hope said, about how words can change the world. He nodded slowly. You believe that? Yes, sir, she said softly. My mom said stories make people remember things. Numbers make them forget. That line hit him like thunder. Numbers make them forget. He, a billionaire surrounded by numbers, had indeed forgotten what it meant to feel. You're right, he whispered. Stories do matter. For a few moments, they sat there in silence, and a billionaire, his daughter, and a homeless girl. 3 worlds that should never have crossed, yet somehow had. Hope continued teaching, her voice calm and confident, while Amelia laughed with joy. And Richard, standing there under the tree, realized something profound. That education wasn't about status. It was about connection. As the sun set over the mansion that evening, the oak tree's shadow stretched long across the garden, a symbol of something new taking root. Hope didn't know it yet, but her life was about to change forever. Because what Richard did next would shock everyone.